Good evening, Randomania, and welcome to a fantastic edition of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament 2020. I am your co-host and restreamer for tonight, Dark Moon. I am joined in the booth by Elastoid. Elastoid, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty great. We're looking at a pretty exciting race between a lot of runners here. And we've got four fairly good runners on our stream here. We got High Spirits and Jay Coper, both been here for a good long while, as well as Ali Jabrap and Zyrak. All four of them went 3-3, so had sort of a back and forth showing in spring tournament, and all four of them threats to potentially finish first in this race and make it to the play-in.
It is going to be interesting, because, yeah, everyone here is vying for that one spot. There is only one spot to make it into the play-in race. We have 20 racers total, but only one who is going to claim that brass ring and a chance to go and, well, I guess, play in the next race to see if they even make it into brackets. This is the cutthroat meat grinder right here.
Absolutely. We can already see some fairly interesting decisions made by these players. Jay Coper clearly going to try and dan that white mage, but choosing to have the white mage just in case of an exit lock or something like that. Looks like Ali Jabrap is going to run two nuns, so not even looking for insurance. Fully committed to this two-man party. And then you see Fighter Rainbow on High Spirit's side, and Zyrak choosing a Thief over the Red Mage. So High Spirits and Zyrak going to have full access to all magic. It looks like Ali Jabrap going a different route.
I am intrigued by all of this. I love the bold move of the nuns. I think that's going to be quite fascinating to see. That's a bold gamble right there, but it really could pay off if the magic is there. I think for the rest of them that have the white mage and, some degree of magic and running available to them, it's going to come down for me to how those first couple levels of white is going to turn out. If it's good, then it's good. But otherwise, yeah, that white's going to be kissing dirt.
Absolutely. It's a gamble, but I mean, in a race like this, where only the first person is going to advance, I like the idea of gambling.
You gotta. And Fighter Black Mages, despite the fact that it's a two-man party, it's actually a pretty safe two-man party. You get a lot of levels quick, because you're not having to share the experience. You get all that attack magic that the Black Mage is entitled to, as long as it shows up. And that Fighter is a beefcake. You put him up front, he'll take anything.
Absolutely. The two-man strats, of course, largely advocated by one of the more experienced and decorated runners in Artea, who is not in this tournament, but has his fair share of wins still, and runs two-man almost exclusively.
I love the two-mans myself. I will admit that I tend to play three-man. Of course, I also got kicked out of the tournament for losing.
Well, I also run three-man. I think that the problem with two-man is it really, you're going all in on that strat, and it can be very, very fast, or it can be susceptible to wipes.
Oh, yeah.
If you run into anything difficult, if you run into stun touch, and you only have two party members, it's a lot harder to get through it. Stone touch is way worse. And, you are one death away from having a solo party member and having to try and figure out a solution. So it's something that if it works well, it can get levels real fast. You'll be level 32 just by taking fights without having to grind. And you'll have an easy time in Temple of Fiends Revisited at that level. But on the way there, you can run into some serious nastiness.
It can be a problem. When you're running a two-man like that, your best thing you got going for you is the hope that the fighter somehow ends up with class change and life too, because otherwise you're just like clenched the whole way.
Absolutely. It looks like Alijabrab not particularly worried about the white magic though. The two spells that he's going to care about most, the reason that this strategy always brings a black mage and not a red mage, is because you always want to be able to cast Temper or Fast.
Mm-hmm.
And lacking those spells, you're not 100% sure that you can get through with the fighter.
Yeah, it's a gamble. I mean, again, it is a gamble. It's part of the reason why, you see High Spirits going with the rainbow right there for his fighter, because that's a safe mage play. It's part of the reason why you see Zyrak take the white and the black along with that thief. He wants the thief for the run ability, but he also wants the chance of getting all the spells he needs in case one of those party members goes down. Jay Coper has an interesting one, and I think is one of the scarier parties, all things considered, just because those red mages don't really have a lot of run chance. So he's going to have to take all the fights that come to him, and that might be his plan, but there is no running, and if the spells for the red mage don't work out, you're stuck with 2 bricks that aren't going to be doing much.
Yeah, the fighter, although, people give him plenty of credit for being good at doing damage and good at tanking damage and good at potentially reviving your party, almost half the time. People don't give him nearly enough credit for being able to run, because fighter actually has a decent run chance. Not as good as a black mage or a thief, but he's got decent luck growth, and towards the later levels, he's going to be able to get out of battles consistently.
So we are just waiting on the final setup for all of these channels that will be hosting us. We are on 5 different channels tonight. Speed Gaming 1 and 2, Randomania 1 and 2 if I'm not mistaken, and RPG Limit Break. And across those 5 channels, remember, only one person is going to come out of this the winner.
Yeah, that said, we've definitely got the best channel right here.
Well, we do have some awesome players here. Aliger Brapp is a veteran of previous Final Fantasy tournaments. Jay Coper is a veteran of, I think, every tournament ever. I've seen him play in all kinds of things. High Spirits is also another veteran. Zyrak is the one that I don't know, but I think he's actually been around for a while, even though the name isn't one that I recognize. And I've seen him play, and he is awesome. So we've got 4 really solid players taking 4 very different strategies. I have good hopes that one of our players is going to make it into the next round.
Yeah, and making it to play-in race, you've got a lot of runners in that one too. I believe there's going to be 16 runners, but there will also be 8 places to be had. So, if you make it through this gauntlet, then there is a fairly strong chance that you can make it into the bracket stage. So, one could very well expect one of these runners to be in the brackets. Incidentally, I think High Spirits is spelled incorrectly.
Oh, I copied off of whatever notes they gave me. I will go check that and fix that in a second.
Yeah. There
Good catch.
Yeah, it took me a second.
It looks great. Hold on. No, that's how he has it on the Discord. I mean, I am dyslexic, so unless I missed something.
Well, that's his Twitch handle and his SRL handle are High Spirits. So we got him for now. Zyrak, we're told in chat, runs a free enterprise a great deal. High Spirits, of course, known for his marathon running of I think the first 9 Dragon Warrior games.
That is an impressive accomplishment.
Yeah, I believe it was like an 84 or like an 86-hour stream that he went and ran all of those Dragon Warrior games. And that was before COVID hit, so that was before everybody had to sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, looks like there's just a little bit of problems behind the scenes on one of our channels. We will have that worked out shortly, and then be good to go. I do want to touch on a point you made just a little earlier right there. You are right. Whoever makes it through this is going to have a very good chance of making it into the next stage of brackets. Or making it through the next race and into brackets. Because the next race, the play-in race, we're going to have 16 people vying for 8 spots. That's a coin flip right there. and whoever can make it through this meat grinder here is going to be skilled enough to defeat 17 other people. Defeating, like, 50-50 odds, that's no problem at all right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously harder than 50-50 to beat some of these runners, you know? Like, you know, there's some really big names in that competition. That said, I mean, you don't have to beat all of them. You just have to beat enough of them. So
yeah, with a race like that, it's not a matter of being able to run away from the bear. It's just running faster than your opponents.
Yeah, you can be a middle of the pack runner and make it through that play-in race, and that's, you know, it can be very, very difficult to ensure that you're gonna be victorious. Like being in this last chance qualifier, it's definitely a crapshoot, you know, because luck will play a huge factor. But you know, in a race where the top 8 will make it, it's a lot less luck based. At least for the top, like, 5 or 6.
It's been an interesting run getting up to here. Like watching all the runners play through the last 6 weeks of Swiss, who got knocked out, who's in here. I will admit, like, looking at here and the whole list of people that are in this meat grinder, this 3-3 race, it's amazing to me how many of them are people that I would have expected to actually, like, already be committed to brackets, already be like 5-1, which speaks a lot to the quality of the field that we had this year.
Yeah, it also speaks to the luck being a factor. I mean, there are people in brackets who people would not have predicted to even make brackets. So
the Swiss flags are interesting. We can have a long conversation about how much luck plays into it versus how much it's just straight a skill game. It is definitely an interesting flag set, that is for sure. And I think that it certainly acts as a bit of an equalizer before you even get to the great equalizer of Topher itself.
Absolutely, and Topher has been quite the equalizer so far this tournament. You know, there have been lucky Tophers, there have been unlucky Tophers, but also, you know, it's challenged a lot of runners to adapt, and not every runner has done so. We have seen runners who make it into Topher 20, 30, I've even seen 50 minutes before their opponent and still manage to lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Asking in chat, when is start time? Start time is officially 13 minutes ago.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
it's not even unexpected technical difficulties.
No.
We will start as soon as we get all 19 of our cats herded.
Yeah, that is very true. We are herding a bunch of racers and 5 different broadcast channels that we're going across right now. So
yeah.
Just being able to get all of this coordinated and working, whenever there's a glitch or a bubble in the system, you know, we all have to just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that said, we have that's it. We do have all of our runners readied up and ready to go. We're just waiting for our restreamers to all be ready to do this. So it looks like the only entrants who aren't ready are Danny and Cyclone.
Yeah, those are our people behind the scenes keeping the whole race gatekeeper, because they're the overlords right there. So
yeah, exactly. So everybody else is readied up, so we should be underway fairly soon. And I use that word should.
Should. As soon as the technical difficulties are worked out, whatever is going on behind the scenes. But it just means that we get to keep chatting, and if there are questions from chat that you guys want to know about what's coming up today, we are more than happy to discuss them. I believe these are based on the Swiss Sea flags, so we're going to have a required, well, not a required, but an incentivized mermaid floor.
Yeah, that's for this particular race. It's going to be the sea flags, which means that the sea shrine, the mermaid floor, is going to be incentivized. That tends to favor fighter, because when you're going to that floor, you're definitely going to grab all the rest of the equipment that's up there. You know, so it does mean a lot more chests that are going to be checked. It also tends to be less swingy than a lot of the other flags. The real danger, the real scary one, is going to be Earth flags, and that's going to happen in the play-in race.
Well, something to remember is the fact that the game doesn't care whether or not you're qualified to make it through a dungeon when at the levels that it gives you the dungeon access. As soon as that dungeon is available to you via key items, it considers it available for you to actually go in there and do anything. So if you make it out of the Circle C because you have a free ship already, you get that canal, and you have Oxyale just from like King or Princess, guess what? Game thinks you can go clear Sea Shrine, so get ready up and go clear Sea Shrine, because it's not waiting for you.
Absolutely, and that's going to be even more of a factor when we get later to bracket stages, is you can have on-rack in the inner sea. So you can have the canal locked in Kraken's floor, or right before Kraken's floor, and, and not be able to get through until you can get through that hellish gauntlet.
I mean, you can end up with all kinds of weird stuff once we get to that level of it. You can find Canal down in Sea Shrine because you have access to it with a on-rack Oxyale from, like, the King and the on-rack being at Elfland, only to find, like, Cube and Chime down there, and suddenly you have to go through Sky Palace next. Like, the variety of what you can end up with now, as with like a Sea Shrine opening, and then later, once we get into the full bracket stages and the chaos that's going to ensue there, it's going to be something interesting to watch.
Absolutely. So there's going to be lots more of exciting races to be done once these this last chance qualifier and this play-in race are over. There's still going to be a lot left of this tournament.
So looking at the characters, I mean, obviously we already know that Allie only has 2 characters, and that's just how that's going to be. We're assuming that Jay Coper is going to drop that White Mage, and I would be willing to bet that the Black Mage over on High Spirits' side is probably going to eat it as well, just because he's named differently than the rest of them. The one I'm not sure of at all...
I would say no. I think High Spirits fully expects to use that Black Mage.
That is fair.
It's possible he's got, he's got a lot of individuals who are fans of his stream cheering him on. It's possible that he's named after one of them. It could have been a donation incentive or something.
That is fair. That is fair. I definitely think that just from the naming right now, Zyrak could go just about any way with his party.
For sure, and like the name, just from Jay Coper's side, that White Mage, he expects to Dan. If you find something like Fade and Exit level 1 that are not Red Mage learnable, then he'll probably change his plan. But for now, we know what the plan is.
Yeah, like if Life 2 is sitting at the level 1 or the level 3 shop, and it's in that second slot where no one but the White Wizard can learn it, and like Life is outside the bounds of whatever the Fighter and the Red Mage can have, then that would definitely make a call for having that White Mage up, at least at the end game with some charges available. There are certainly cases where that White Mage is useful, but I am certainly in the camp that the White Mage is of limited use for most of the game, and there's no reason to drag them around, like, up and alive, when you could be getting that experience from people that actually need it now.
I agree. If we don't start before 20 minutes late, I will do the entire race in my best California accent.
Like, for sure, like,
have to
totally.
Get ready in the next 40 seconds.
Is it straight California, or are you doing, like, Valley Girl?
Oh, man, bro, I lived there for a lot of years, so, I mean, we'll just...
I gotta say, that accent is amazing, especially with that little bit of your, like, current drawl sticking out underneath.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Okay, it looks like we're gonna be underway, and, yeah.
That is a 5-second warning?
We're gonna start just before 20 minutes, so I'm not gonna have to do this all race.
I appreciate that immensely. So yeah, that was the...
Oh yeah, I'm sure you do.
the green flag has been dropped, the racers have been released, we'll see them moving shortly.
And it looks like Hesper immediately hits the B button by mistake and has to rename his last character.
Oops! Oh, level 1 nuke reroll! Who made this? Come on!
a level 1 nuke available, and nothing for that white mage, so probably going to feel pretty good on Jay Coper's side, and also on Ali Jabrap's side.
If you'll just pardon me for one moment, I need to quickly recrop High Spirits because he screwed around with his settings, and I want to make him look good.
Yeah, no worries. You know, there's not a whole lot exciting going on as Jay Coper going into Topher. I'm kidding. Yeah, so Jay Coper's going to find a cabin in that chest, as he's our first runner to actually get going. The other runners look like they're going to purchase some weapons and other equipment. But Jay Coper, fine with a level 1 nuke. He's got 2 casters. He's ready to go. He's already got that white mage down, which is what he was looking for. He's also got a fighter and a red mage down, probably not according to plan. But the last red mage with a couple HP left is going to get that nuke off. So we'll see if he continues to go through or if he resets out. Now he's going to try and walk out. He's going to get stunned by the ghoul here. The ghoul casting stun and then hold.
Oh, that's rough. If he can... Oh! Come on, you can make it! Come on, Jacob! Oh, wow!
And
lit 3!
So,
it was not playing around.
Jacob, well, I mean, spent a lot of time stunning and did spend some time playing with his food, but that's going to eliminate any lead he had in terms of just leaving early. So we got Ali Jabrap already in there, and he's already going to hit level 4 just from those 2 creeps. Mm-hmm. You know, and that is what happens when you're running a party of 2.
I do have to admit, when you said that Jacob was making a dive into the Temple of Fiends Revisited, I was sitting there going, ooh, the level 1 Chaos dive. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Yes, of course, a level 1 Chaos dive. Using NPC Guillotine to skip Garland and the Black Orb.
Unfortunately,
so High Spirit's going to make the Provoca play. This is a play I employed most of the time as well. I definitely like it. You know, Temple of Fiends, level 1, it can be dangerous to grab those chests and everything. And it's always just easy to take care of those pirates when you can. You get the levels for free. And if you've got any party members that you want to damn, like Jay Coper does, then that's also easily done there.
I like the early Garland play. I like taking him out, especially when you have Nuke and you just can. I mean, he's not going to stand up to more than like 1 cast of that, and that's that. Because it then
so
means
we've got Lit 3 and Brack level 2. That's going to be a hand life level 2. So these red mages are sitting pretty.
Yeah, you don't need much of anything else from them.
Looking pretty good with those red mages. He's going to have Lit 3 and Nuke on top of his revival magic on both of them.
Yeah, and part of the point I was going to make is that when you make that Garland play, you get the early items, which we find the tail from the king and crown from Sarah. So that does mean that you can immediately go talk to Astos if you so want to. But once you're done there, and you don't have any items for the Dwarf Cave, I 100% agree with going over to the Pirates and finding out what their key item is and getting that magic and just getting that part of the game ready. And look, as we were talking about earlier, the Oxyale.
Yeah, so we've got Oxyale that puts, once we have Canal, that puts the on-rack play on the table. We also found the crown and the tail from the royals there. So the king giving up his crown.
It was a spare.
He
just has him laying around.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if the Lat Warriors really needed it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you need this to kill Chaos, but I mean, okay, you can have it. It's just, you know, my royalty and all.
It's vendor trash, it's fine. He has a better one now.
Yeah, so looks like High Spirits is gonna leave Provoca, but he hasn't made the Garland play yet.
And it looks like Zyrek is gonna go to try and see what's up in Matoya's closet, see what the old lady's been keeping around for a rainy day.
I'll be honest, I hate going up to Matoya's when I don't know the first 3 key items, because if one of them turns into the crystal, then you're going to be forced to make that double dip, and it's not costly in terms of danger, but it's costly in terms of time.
I mean,
like if that crown turns into the crystal and Zyrak has to go back up there, he's going to feel a little sheepish.
I mean, I do agree with that in that regard, and yet at the same time, I've played a couple of seeds in Swiss already where Matoya was sitting on the canal, and if you didn't go to her, you were gonna, like, but you somehow managed to get the canoe, which happened to me. You spend a lot of time sailing that river system when it would have just been faster for you to go somewhere else. Also, by going to Matoya, you get that sun sword, which is never a bad thing.
Absolutely. The Matoya play definitely needs to happen when we're checking chests. I do like putting it off until you've finished your key item checks, but either way, Zyrak gonna find that Sun Sword, and that's gonna be a useful find early for sure. That's something that the fighter can equip, and also for the Jake Copers and the High Spirits of the world, the Red Mages can equip it as well. High Spirits having a lot of levels, not going to worry about being ambushed by anything. Oh, the ghouls have glare, and his red mage is going to go, or his white mage is going to go down. He does have the level 1 or level 2 life though, so the white mage is going to come right back up.
I also don't want to undersell one of the other spells that they have at their disposal right now. That Brack is going to be very useful for that sea dive that they're almost and certainly going to have to make at this point. Like, fighting Kraken when you actually have to fight him fair, Kraken is not fair. So, it's all in Kraken's favor when you have to fight him there. But when you can go at him with Brack, which has a 25%-ish chance, I think it's like 24, but, you know, almost 1 in 4 chance of taking him down, and you got 2 casters that can do it, you are much better off just taking that Brack in and doing an early dive and getting that crystal out of the way now.
Absolutely. You know, if you're in Jay Coper's or High Spirits shoes where you have 2 casters of Brack, it's going to be a fairly reasonable play. When you've only got 1 caster, it can be sort of a risk, you know, to rely on that strat, because Kraken could easily backroll one of your casters and put an end to that whole chance, so it's best to have something else, some way to kill Kraken with damage. But, you know, a party with 2 or 3 casters can take down Kraken at level 2.
Yeah, the only one that I would really be worried about right there is Ali. You throw like for Zyrak, you throw the thief up front and you let him take the first couple poundings, and then hopefully by then your Brack casts have gone. But Ali Brack really doesn't have that kind of defense. It's like,
and that is a loaded level 4. You've got Ice 3, so you're a 3rd big sweeper, but you also have Fast and Temper. Oof. So that's going to be useful real late in the game as well, when it's time to buff up for Fiends.
I gotta say...
And Jay Coper, feeling pretty good about his red mages. All of that was red mage learnable, so his red mages are going to have all the magic that he would want.
It's great for him. The only thing that I say is I always hate it when Fast and Temper share a level, especially when it's a level like that where it's just high enough that you're not going to have like 9 charges, because you really want to be able to cast as much Temper as you want, but you want those fast charges as well.
Yeah, and it looks like Astos is just going to introduce you to his buddy Herb. Herb is a temporary party member who joins just long enough to help wake the prince up. He knows apparently the prince personally and is really good at waking him up.
Yeah, he's one of the 11 herbs and spices that KFC follows on Twitter.
So yeah, it looks like we're gonna find out what that herb leads to in just a minute here.
Oh, the prince is asleep.
Jay Coper is going to be the first one on our screen to wake up the prince, and we've got the chime.
Well,
so Team Sky is going to be able to suggest the Sky play. I don't know if I would make it over the Sea play, given these flags that we're running, though.
If we had Cube, 100%, I'd go there right now. I think what we're going to see across these 5 channels is definitely at least 2 or 3 people are going to make that early dip because they're gambling, and they're hoping that the cube or something else essential is going to be lurking down that they need to open up the rest of this sea. I would be surprised...
Yeah, we see on High Spirit's side that the Dwarf Cave has the Opal Armor and the Iron Gauntlet. The Opal Armor going to be useful eventually, but you know it's not a canal. So that means we're going Marsh. And Coper is ahead of everyone in terms of getting there.
First to go on down. I mean, they do have the tail. As soon as they get that canal, the canoe and the floater, they can go turn in that tail, use that opal armor, and that's going to be really nice later. Doesn't really help them just yet.
Yeah, it's going to be real nice eventually. For now, it's not going to be a thing, but it looks like Elflin was loaded in terms of armor, has silver bracelets and chain armor. Silver bracelets and chain armor going to be equal in terms of absorb, so if you happen to be running red mages and fighters, then it's real cheap to get them up to 15 absorb. If you're running mages that can't equip the chain armor, like the black mage or the white mage, then it's going to be a little bit more expensive to get that absorb.
Well, and if you want to keep that thief alive as well, like Zyrek might want to,
why would you ever want to keep a thief alive?
Well, I'm just saying, if you did, you're going to have to use the silver bracelets, because the chain armor is not going to go for him.
I mean, not only do you need to keep the thief alive, now you have to spend money to do it? I don't understand.
Jacob,
it looks like the canal is going to be in the first chest on the north side of Marsh Cave, so potentially a very fast Marsh dive, although we do know that Exit was Red Mage learnable, so it's possible, we see it in J. Coper's spell list, it's possible that J. Coper could make a extended Marsh dive, try and pull out one of those 2 loose items that are still out there.
Only 2 at this point? I thought we were still looking for all 3.
There aren't 3 loose items in these flags.
You're right, it's C, thank you. For a second I was thinking Chaos flags. My brain locked up for a second there. Yeah, we
and
also did
Marsh
find...
has a ribbon as well, so Marsh is going to deliver. And we'll see what J. Coper chooses to do. Is he going to go for those 6 chests that are in the lower end of Marsh, or is he... Yeah, he's just going to leave. We will probably see one of our 4 runners make the extended dive, though. It's one of those gambles that may or may not pay off. You could find a loose rod and be super excited. You could find absolutely nothing and be super disappointed.
I think it's a play I'd make. I mean, you're here. I hate Marsh, but you're here and a gamble anyway. I don't think it's a big a gamble. Just be like, I'm already at this dungeon. Let me just go finish it.
Yeah, I gotta agree. You know, the only thing I hate more than visiting Marsh is visiting Marsh twice. At the same time, you never know. There could be something really important in key-locked Marsh. You know, it could be something that you'd much rather revisit towards the end.
Ew, no. No, I hate going to Marsh at all. I really hate having to go to Marsh twice.
Yep. And if you make the redive without the key, there's a chance that you have to go there 3 times. And I'm pretty sure that there's a rule that if you visit Marsh 4 times, you have to forfeit.
I believe the scene is just going to automatically make you do that anyway, just by sheer amount of time you spent down there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that whether or not you win the race, if you visit Marsh 4 times, you're losing it live. So, yeah, J. Coper gets back to town. He's going to purchase some softs because his fighter has this horrible tendency to get stoned on the job.
I did miss what monster actually caused that to happen.
I believe it was one of the undead. I think it was a Geist that did it. Yes, so J. Coper is probably going to be the first one out of our inner C on our stream, as he has taken a commanding lead on our stream. His party absolutely was the party to go with if you knew the magic in advance, and it looks like J. Coper not even going to visit Melman, not even going to look at that magic. He's going straight, and he's going to on-ramp. This is an interesting play. He doesn't know yet what's in Crescent Lake, right? Crescent Lake has something, you know, has some sort of Like the sages have a loose item for free, but we don't know what it is yet. And Jay Coper knows that there's also a loose item, or there's an incentivized item in on-rack, and he wants to be the first person to see it.
It's not a bad play. You're already there. Heck, you even have a ribbon. Like, I fully respect this play. You got the nukes. You got the time. You got the lightning threes. Even like it's. Why not make this play? You're here. Just go for it.
Well, I mean, it could pay off, and it could really hurt him. If the sages are offering the canoe, or worst case scenario, the sages are offering the canoe, and the floater is the vendor item in Crescent Lake, you know, you could be sailing when you could be flying. You know, so there are ways that this can really hurt you. But Jay Coper knows that, you know, this isn't about who comes in second, and he's not interested in making the safe play. What he really wants, what would be a bonanza for him, is for him to find the canoe in Mermaids and then find the floater in the waterfall. Because then he would be able to just go. Or, you know, to find the floater as the vendor item in either on-rack or the Oasis.
Allie is in a bit of a problem here, getting jumped by this bone crawl pack. Only has his black mage up, desperately trying to get away when they're going to use that lightning 3, try and get through this, which of course they don't really have much help. They're going to fall down to that, but he is still in a desperate situation here. Really needs to get out of here before he gets knocked down. One step
try
away.
To get that canal out there, and this is the danger that you have running the two-man party. If something ambushes you, it can kill a party member. And while it's a drag that he killed his fighter, he's actually probably would prefer that at this point than having him kill his black mage, because his black mage, not only being better at running, he's got nuke, so he doesn't really need to run very often.
Well, and at this earlier part of the game, you really want those spell charges getting on that mage. So you get little extra magic dumped on them, why not? Nothing to worry about.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ali Jabrab is the only runner on our stream who does not have access to exit, and that was the first time that it potentially could have cost him, you know? It means that you're going to have to take the time to walk something out, and that can be dangerous, but it can also be deadly. As Jay Coper is already in halfway towards the mermaid floor, and he's picking up some levels by nuking down these Gersharks.
The experience in the Sea Shrine isn't as good as it is over at, like, Sky Palace. If you can get into, like, Mirage Tower and Sky Palace and check that out, experience there is great. But with the spells he has and where the seed was pointing him, the experience is still pretty darn good for the levels he was at. He's already clocking in at, like, level 12, level 13. That is some great stuff right there.
Absolutely. I mean, the Sea Shrine has several fights that are as good as you would expect in Mirage, but, you know, you have to be more picky with your fights, you know. The sea snakes and lobsters not going to be as good to take as the experienced pinata, as they call the big eyes. You know, so there's a lot of good experience to be had. You just have to be able to get to it. And a lot of the experience here is fairly dangerous. Right? Lobsters are good, but they're dangerous to kill. And of course, ghosts have a lot of experience, but they also will hit like a truck. So
I do love the play that Zyrak is making, checking out this bottom floor. He knows he has to make a gamble. He's got to do something. I think he actually checked a couple of these and then got bounced out already once before, but he's going to finish up his check here, make sure he knows what all is available to him, and make sure he doesn't need to come back to this marsh cave again, at least until he gets the key, and by that point it may already be far enough for the seed he doesn't have to worry about anymore.
Absolutely. And Jay Coper is going to find the adamant in the Sea Shrine, and that is definitely like it could potentially be useful, but it's not going to be what he wants to see, because it means that, you know, if it were the canoe, then he's definitely not going to be able to visit the waterfall right now.
Well, if it is the canoe,
as we see on High Spirit's side, the rod is available in Crescent Lake as a vendor item. So we do know that the Oasis not going to be important. High Spirits does not have enough money to purchase the rod right now.
if it is the canoe here, or the canoe from the adamant right there, Jay Coper's actually probably still got a leg up. I mean, it sucks that you can't go hit the waterfall right now, but then no one else was really going to go hit the waterfall after coming down to on-rack anyway, so this isn't really a time loss, so long as that adamant turns into something he actually needs.
Absolutely. It depends entirely what that adamant is. If that adamant is a whammy prize, then he has lost time. And
Yeah.
High Spirit's finding the ruby from the sages.
Lovely.
That has a very good chance, because it leads to 2 key items, that has a very good chance of having progression behind it.
Yeah,
And if that's the case, then Jay Coper are going to regret this Sea Shrine play.
Yeah, because you're going to get not only the turn-in from the Titan right there, so you can go talk to Sarda before finding that floater and flying over to Sarda, which a lot of people usually tend to do, but you also have the incentivized Titan's Trove, that leftmost chest that's sitting in there that's going to have another key item for you. So that's 2 potentially useful items as opposed to that adamant that Jay Coper got. I mean, if, like, you hate to see it, like, if it turns out to be, like, adamant becomes Thor Hammer or something. That's the one that really hurts.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you have the full expectation that Ruby could turn into 2 key items. You know, in order to fly, you're going to need the canoe and the floater. And Ruby could have both of them behind it. So finding that Ruby it always feels good.
Jay Coper does seem to be interested in doing the rest of this play, though. Find more levels, more gear, and maybe even go kill Kraken while he's here. Gonna go check the left side of this Sea Shrine split and see what all is down here.
I'm gonna agree with that. He could find a loose item, and that could be useful. And also, he could just make sure that he doesn't need to double dip this Sea Shrine. Now, he's only level 14, and that's not going to be what you'd want to kill Kraken with damage, but he has 2 Brat casters, and he's gonna try and make a gamble, because as he knows, he needs to come in first.
I respect that. High Spirits is right behind... Not High Spirits. Allie is right behind High Spirits, having just finished out getting his ruby, but instead of sailing back to Melman, he is doing a bit of a Crescent Lake grind. Gonna try and get some of that money together so he can buy the vendor item that's lurking.
Gonna go for the Peds. We do see that Warp is in its vanilla slot, so that's gonna be bad news for Ali Jabrat.
Allie especially.
It means he's not gonna have access to Warp until he's flying.
I mean, it's not great for anyone else, because you really want to be able to use it at Ice Cave and Ordeals, both of which are incentivized, either of which could have the canoe and or the floater lurking in them. So that sucks. But it really especially hurts Jay Coper, because that's the only spell he can use to actually get anywhere out of dungeons. Not Jay Coper, Allie.
Absolutely. So yeah, these ghouls are not playing around. They cast out, and they also have Glare. Glare being it's an instant death. It doesn't always hit. It doesn't have the highest hit rate, but it does. The only thing that resists it's time elementals. The only thing that resists it is either Black Shirt or Ribbon. So not a good thing to see on enemies. And ghouls are fairly common in this area.
As Lord of the Synth notes in chat, the C play is a really bold move for Jay Coper to make. I think pretty much everyone around here is going to agree it's a really solid move, especially if it plays out. Good chest density, have possibility of a crystal, already have that adamant in your pocket, getting good levels. Like, this could work out really well for him because he has Brack and some levels under his belt. It is a risk, and if he isn't able to get that crystal out of here, it's a risk that doesn't really feel like it pays off.
And High Spirits is going to find the canoe in the Titan's Trove. That is huge.
It is.
That means that Ruby was required progression. It was the immediate progression. And we're going to see if Sarda has a floater, because if he does, then High Spirits has everything he needs to fly.
It could be. I mean, with what we have available and the locations we can go to, the canoe does open up more, but there's a good weight, a good chance that this floater is going to turn up real soon. Or it could be the crystal. Okay. Could still be the floater.
The crystal is sort of the love of suspense here. We're gonna sail over to Matoya probably immediately and try and see if that's where the floater is, because once you have the canoe, you know, like, you're sailing until you're flying. And the floater is going to become the single most important item. The first person to find it has the biggest chance to win this race.
That said, both the bottle and the slab have yet to turn up yet, so there is a very real chance this seed could be played floaterless.
Absolutely. The floater could be anywhere.
So we're gonna need
floater could be loose. The floater could be rod locked, and it could be that the play to get it is to purchase that rod in Crescent Lake and then go dive Earth.
We're gonna want to pay attention to the upper right corner because J. Coper is taken on Kraken, and we want to see just how dangerous this is going to be. A nuke for 174 followed by a swing of 2 hits for 84 damage. Ooh, damage poison. Don't want to see that. Second nuke swings out as well, another 191 damage. That he is definitely going the nuke play, not doing the Brack play, doesn't like the instant death. 3 hits for 41, Fighter is still standing as the Crack swings back, and another nuke for 200 takes it down. Well played with the overwhelming force.
Yeah, I missed this, but Jay Coper chose to grab A-Rub and Wall on his red mages.
Wall I agree with. A-Rub is
it's a safety play.
It
means that he doesn't need to... like, A-Rub is going to cast on all party members, so you can cast A-Rub once and be, like, not afraid of Crack. And Wall, of course, is going to be, give you essentially a ribbon. So doing that, potentially for late game, he's not sure how many ribbons he's going to find, was an interesting play.
He made it work.
Definitely, like, he's prepared to go. He doesn't want to be stuck looking for a ribbon. But it also meant that he had to kill Kraken with damage, and also critically is going to have to kill Tiamat with damage.
Tiamat I tend to be less worried about. I don't feel like Tiamat hits quite as hard as the Master of Arms. But it's that thing of, like... I guess it's a bold move, It's one of those things where you're sitting there going, I can see the logic behind it. Don't know that I would have made that same play.
Yeah, Tiamat's going to have more absorb and more HP than Kraken will. So Tiamat can be less of a threat during the fight, although can also roll high damage, but also going to be less prone to just falling down to a couple nukes.
High spirits.
So it's definitely a risk play, but we're going to see if it pays off for him. As Jay Coper is the first on our stream to light an orb. And 27 minutes, that's pretty early for orbs.
Just saw High Spirits get that TNT from that crystal turn-in. She can see she is a healed! Now, Jay Coper is also walking over. He's going to turn on that adamant, so we finally get to see what this bit of turn-in is. Also finding that opal armor from the dwarves. Going to be very happy with that. And
Jay Coper is going to be forced to do a double dip, as the bottle is what he gets for the adamant. He's not going to like to see that. He knows that he's not going to turn the bottle in until he's flying. So he knows now for sure that the bottle, even if it was required, was not required yet, and will not be immediate progression. So High Spirits, not having the TNT, is going to go turn in that, or not having the adamant, is going to go turn in the TNT. And we're going to see what's the end of this chain.
Oh.
And it is the floater. So High Spirits is going to be the first runner on our stream to find the floater, and will likely be the first runner on our stream to fly.
That is definitely worth a hooray right there. Hooray! And meanwhile, we have Ellie making a dive into Earth. Took the time to get those levels and the money, especially from Crescent, so that he could go buy the rod. Now he's going to try and do a full Earth dive with his two characters. This is definitely a bold play, because I don't like doing Marsh, but I also don't like doing Earth, because I feel like, depending upon how the mix of enemies goes, it can be just as bad.
Yeah, and you see, he was ambushed by those Gerwolves and werewolves, the stun touch being dangerous, and before he could get a zap off, or get a nuke off, it looks like they had zap. Meanwhile, Zyrak is going to make the sky play, and if this has a loose item, this could be big for him. What he really wants to find here, we know he's not going to find a floater, and that's what he sort of wants to find, but if he were to find a cube here, that could be big, because a lot of runners are going to put this play off until they find the cube, and they may even full clear the key-locked marsh before they go into Mirage.
Opal Shield's sitting there lurking at that bottom floor of Mirage along with the Procate. Now when they decide to class change, what High Spirits is going to be able to do, whenever they go into Sky, they're going to have a full set of decent armor right there for that fighter. So that's a really nice move right there. Really nice bit of gear to find right there. Meanwhile, Jay Coper hit Crescent Lake finally, is getting that rod from the shop because he had the money because of that Sea Dive, and now picking up his ruby, so he's going to be on the chain that Allie and High Spirits were following.
Absolutely, and High Spirits is clearing out Cardia. He's gonna find so far just gold and a house. Right? He's hoping he's gonna absolutely do the class change, though. Let's see if he uses the house before he will.
Normally,
so he's got more exit charges and is able to actually get out of here real quick.
Normally, I would.
But it looks like Zyrak is making the Mirage play. He's gaining some levels here. And he's going deeper into Mirage without this cube. So definitely a gamble on his side as well.
So we're wandering up to the second floor of Mirage for Zyrak. Allie once again getting really bad luck with these wolves down here on Earth. This is just a nasty pack to run into. High Spirits' is class change and continuing his exploration of the Zardia Islands. And Jay Coper is just about a couple minutes back behind the rest of them, as far as doing out this next portion of the play.
Absolutely.
Another Procate.
I was checking the sheet there. It looks like there aren't a whole lot of runners who are flying, so High Spirits definitely among our leaders in this race.
He has a nice edge among our four, and from the sound of it, has a good edge among the other 17, 16, however many are playing on the other channels. Ice Armor.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not the only one flying, but he's one of the few, so potentially could leverage that into a lead. You know, it's really hard when you're competing with 17 runners. It's a lot easier when you're competing with the 2 or 3 who also are flying. So High Spirits could potentially jump out to a lead in this seat.
Ice Shield pickup there for High Spirits in that third Cardia Island. Not a bad little pickup right there. Definitely a bit of gear you like having right now.
What we're really looking for, the key now, is the loose items. There are still 2 items out there. They're loose. We have no idea which chest they are. And the thing that's going to separate runners once they're flying is going to be who dives the right dungeon, who finds those key items. Oh wow! On Ali Jabrab's side, it looks like he doesn't have the soft potions to bring back the stoned fighter.
That's a misstep.
Those guys turned his fighter to stone. When he's looking in the chest, he wants to find a key item, but he also sort of just really wants to find a soft potion.
Yeah, that's a big misstep right there. Soft potions, I understand not buying them initially because you're really wary about spending too much of your money, and softs generally are expensive. But especially once you start having to do the forced Marsh and Earth dives, which, I mean, he's committed to this dive at this point. That hurts, and I really don't know that he's going to be able to clear this whole thing with just a Black Mage.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. I mean, one of the things, when you're running a 2-man party, you don't need a whole lot of softs. 3 will be good for the whole time, because it's not like you're going to have 2 people turned to stone in a battle and be using softs after, right? So 3 softs represents 3 different battles in which one of your party members was turned to stone and the other got away. You know, so it's not a huge investment, but it is a lot more important, because if you don't get it, you could be in trouble. Although it looks like he found a soft in that chest and was able to revive his fighter.
Very nice. Doesn't look like we found much of anything lurking up at Mirage 2, so that without the cube, Zyrak has to walk back out. Did get a bit of gear, which is nice, but on the whole, a bit of a lost bit of time right there.
Absolutely. You know, you don't want gear because you know other people are going to find enough gear to kill chaos, right? Like that's not what you need. What you need is to find something that nobody else has that they're going to need to complete the game, right? So if you find like a loose cube early, then that means that you can check fewer chests and you can make up a lot of time.
J. Coper having that rod and being in the area to do that ruby turn in, he is immediately coming over to Earth, gonna make the play to see what all is lurking down here. I miss that the Dragon Armor and the X-Cal were here. That is a great Knight starter pack right there to have this early. That, I mean, you don't really worry too much about gear at this point of the game. It's good to have it, and you already had Opal. But wow, that if you're gonna find anything lurking in 2 chests, those are the ones to find.
Yeah, the Opal armor already being available means the Dragon armor is going to be less important for J. Coper. But the X-Cal, definitely a good find, and those are chests that a lot of people prefer to go mode Earth, so a lot of people won't be checking that chest. That said, it's just not enough. You need to find something that, you need to find that loose loot that everybody's going to be looking for all game. You know, so High Spirits is going to be checking the waterfall. He's going to try and start collecting these incentivized items, and you got to feel like he's hoping that he finds something early, but he's also hoping that he finds something loose.
J. Coper is definitely in a better position right now to deal with this Earth Cave than Ali is. He's got the spells, he's got the resources, he's got an extra warrior. Like, this is going to be a much easier dive for him to do, all things considered. And unfortunately, so far, it doesn't seem like anything has been found on Ali's side either. So we're still really desperately looking around for what could be the thing that opens it up. Hoping that's going to be in this last room here for Ali. Otherwise, you're going to get a crystal lit. It's not a time loss, but it is a bit of a time loss as far as having to check all these chests.
Absolutely. And while and the waterfall gonna yield the Opal bracelet, that's a bit of a whammy prize for High Spirits. You know, the Opal bracelet is useful, but it doesn't make you much faster. He's gonna equip that ice sword and he's gonna try and get out of here as quickly as possible. No, it looks like he's gonna take this Red D fight again.
They went down easy. I can't blame him.
He could cast Exit and be out of here, so this is a conscious choice to fight these.
Yeah, I don't mind it. He got good levels off this previous one. If he's worried about his level situation right now, and they go down to like a nuke and a lit 3, that's easy money.
He feels like this fight is going to help him get Red D for Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That's the joke that is shamelessly stolen from Edgeworth, by the way.
So J. Coper skipped out on the upper room right there, didn't bother checking it. Hopefully, I didn't see anything in there, but although I didn't really catch a glimpse of it when Ali was through it, but hopefully there was nothing there. Meanwhile, what I also didn't see, because it happened so fast, Lich was there and gone. So Ali now has his first crystal.
Yeah, and J. Coper is going to be the first to light 2 orbs, and potentially lighting 2 orbs before 40 minutes. That is a breakneck pace. But they're going to have something to say about it as the werewolf's going to cast Zap. And fortunately for J. Coper, one of his party members is going to live through it, but he's only going to punch, so probably, yeah, you're going to have to burn a lit 3 or another nuke to get out of this fight.
Worried about resources. I mean, I can understand that. He was hoping it was within an inch, but it wasn't quite.
Yeah, that said, he does have life charges, but choosing not to use them yet.
I can see that.
Just running towards Lich. I can see wanting to get this done before 40 minutes, but I feel like you gotta revive your party members.
He will.
It's hard to get turn order when you only got 1 party member against 8 arachnids.
I'm sure he'll bring the party members back up. I think what he's worried about is seeing those wolves again, and then, like, wasting life charges because they're just not letting him go.
Yeah, I understand that, though I don't think you find werewolves on this floor. But, I mean,
I don't think so, yeah.
You know, like, revive your other red mage for sure.
Oh, the red mage doesn't have the ribbon, though.
Yeah, you can move the ribbon around. You know, you how many life charges do you have on the other red mage, right? It's a play. It's a risk that I don't know that I would be taking. That said, you know, Jay Coper mostly getting through here. This floor has had he's run into a bit of encounter luck. He's run into a massive amount of encounters. That's in the like 20 some odd steps he's taken. He's already hit his fourth encounter on this floor. So it's taken a lot longer to get to Lich and revive his party members than he probably had hoped for. As High Spirits is going to go into Sea Shrine, he's going to find his Adamant and probably going to take care of Kraken while he's here.
Okay, so really bold. You were right. Jay Coper didn't revive his characters at all. When it Lich
Did he forget he has life?
He does have life, I thought.
Oh yeah, and he knew he had it. He just chose not to use it. Just choosing to nuke down the Lich.
Which worked out in one nuke
he's
cast.
He's going to be the first runner on our stream to light 2 orbs at 41 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say one nuke cast was all it took. That Lich had like no health whatsoever, so it's a play that worked out really well. It was just a very bold play, and at that point, not even bring them back up for like the boss fight. That's not a play I would have made.
Yeah, you never know what Lich is gonna have or what Lich is gonna do. I mean, having a ribbon can be useful, but it doesn't stop Death Touch. You know, it doesn't stop Stone Touch. There's quite a few things that can still scare you. As High Spirits also does not have any soft potions.
I mean, we know they were
at... check the mermaid floor. He's gonna find that TNT.
We know they were at Canaria,
and we're gonna see what he chooses to do with it. Zyrak getting his bottle. Zyrak doesn't have the floater yet either. He made the similar play to go down and do the Sea Shrine before he turned in the ruby, so he doesn't have floater.
High Spirits, of course, is in very good position to do this Sea Shrine dive at this point, since, I mean, he's not going to turn up much of anything. We know there's not a lot lurking down here besides that Adamant, but he at least had the canoe, only has to visit this place once, and he could do it by flying here.
Absolutely. Jay Coper here is in Castle of Ordeals. This is going to be our first look at this particular incentivized item. You know, Jay Coper is going to hope to find, you know, something like a cube or a loot or something that's going to help him progress. What he's not going to want to see is the Thor Hammer.
Also,
the waters are cast in Invis 2, that is going to be just an annoying encounter. If you get ambushed by 6 waters and 2 Nagas in Temple of Fiends Revisited, that means you could potentially sit through 6 waters cast in Invis 2 on 8 enemies, and that's going to lose you plenty of time without even posing a threat to you. It looks like Jay Coper is going to choose to take a bit of a mini grind here on these waters. He's got Ice 3, and waters are, of course, weak to ice. I don't know if I agree with this play just because these fights are taking so long. You can see these waters cast in Invis 2, you know, it just takes so long. It doesn't have to hurt your party to hurt your time on the clock. So it looks like High Spirit's going to pick up some more magic. Going to be grabbing some life casts for his fighter. Meanwhile, Zyrak just grabbed his crystal from Sarda, and it looks like Ali Jabrap having his orb lit. Looks like he's going south to Onrak.
It is interesting to see Jay Coper taking this water fight.
Oh, he's got his floater. He's going to go fly. Oh, sorry.
It is interesting to see Jay Coper taking this water fight. Like, it's good experience, don't get me wrong. They're a bit beefy for my taste. I don't know that I would be grinding on them the way he is. Again, great experience, but if they get a hold of you, they will hit like a truck. Waters are not nice.
Yeah, and I'd almost rather that they hit you than that they cast Invis 2 on 6 enemies.
And just waste more time. I mean, he's low 20s right now. That's great experience. Can't really complain about that. At the same time, though, I mean, if that's the only grind he does, more power to him.
Yeah, with 3 party members alive, it's not like, you know, you're going to get the extra experience because you're splitting it 3 ways instead of 4. It's not like you really expect you're going to spend a whole lot of time grinding. So we'll see how it goes. You know, if he has a really rough Topher and is the only one to do it, then that'll help him. As he finds the loot here in Ordeals, that's gonna be good for him. But he still hasn't turned in that crystal. He still doesn't have the floater, and that's what he really wanted to find.
But
so Jay Coper, feeling like he's behind. He's not making the obvious checks. He's checking the things that aren't obvious because he wants to find the floater before anybody else does. And unfortunately, it looks like he's going to go make the waterfall check. We know that this is going to net him an opal bracelet. He's got 2 orbs lit, but he's still not feeling like he's super ahead.
One nice thing about having that...
I was going to make the ice cave play. This is definitely the correct play to make. Although I didn't see him light his orb while he was there in Sea Shrine, and I feel like if he was there, he had to go kill Kraken.
One nice thing about having that loot out of the way right now, though, is that it is at least something you don't have to worry about digging out later. That loot pretty much can be anywhere, especially since we're still... I don't even think we've seen a single loose item at this point. So, like, that loot is it's the Zelda Ice Rod. It can be anywhere, and it can show up in basically any place except the dungeon you need it. Like, you hate to see that loot just deep down somewhere that you could miss it.
Absolutely. You know, I feel like I would have been going for Gurgu at some point. You know, there's a lot of chests there. There's a lot of fights there that you know that you can take. You can get an orb out of the way. And, you know, when you still have 2 loose items, you know, all the chests that are in Gurgu, because it's so quick to check them, you know, it could be just as good as finding an incentivized item. Crucially, we don't have the Mystic Key yet. We don't have the Cube yet. And if you find either of those, they could be gating the other loose item. Because both of them lock just a ton of chests. This High Spirits is going to find the slab in Ice Cave. We don't know yet what that will turn into.
But High Spirits is in a place where he actually can find that part out, which is very useful to him. And of course, you know, once he does his turn-ins and gets that bottle, he's also going to be able to turn that in as well. Only one in the air on our 4 stream. He's the one person that's really going to be able to figure all of this out.
Well, Aligrab also in the air. He's going to make his Cardia checks, and he's already turned in his tail, so he's class changed. So he's going to be quite happy to be able to equip all that nice stuff that he found, and hopefully he's going to have the experience and levels necessary to handle anything that he runs into at just a 2-man party. So this is what his party expects to sort of slingshot out at this point. He just needs to find the things that he needs. And he's also critically going to have Warp now, so he'll be able to make a Warp trick in Ice Cave, or he'll be able to warp out of Waterfall or Ordeals.
I'm seeing in chat that there was a Mazda found. I'm assuming that had to be over on High Spirits' side. Ice Cave being the only new place that we're exploring right now, and we hadn't found the Mazda before this yet.
Yeah, so it looks like the Mass Mutant turning up in Ice Cave, that's going to be a nice find.
6-pack chest from Karant, one of our 2 trackers, verifying that for us.
Absolutely. So High Spirits choosing not to exit out after he found the slab, you know, that's... I mean, he doesn't know where the loose items are, so he could still be finding like a loose cube in here. But even if he doesn't, he's going to be glad to find that Mass Mutant. That's an endgame sword right there, and he's going to feel perfectly fine taking on Chaos with it. So he doesn't find anything else, he's going to exit out. He's going to turn in that slab and see what it is, but first he's going to make that Gurgu play that I've been hoping to see.
Cube is still out there. Key is still out there. Both of those being the ones that we want. More than likely, though, I think at least one of the loose items at this point is going to be something inessential like the Thor Hammer or the Power Bonk. You like the Power Bonk, don't necessarily need the Power Bonk. So...
you never know. You could see, like, that bottle turn in. That bottle could turn into the Thor Hammer or something like that. You know, it's possible that the loose... We still haven't found the key, and we still haven't found the cube. So those are two important items that could be loose. And critically, they could gate each other. It is confirmed. High Spirit's the first runner in this whole race to find Mass Mutant. So he's the only one who's been who's at least full cleared that ice cave. So we'll see how well he's able to take advantage of that.
And of course now he's the only runner actually making it over here to this volcano cave. So once again, he's going to have a second full clear that the other two are going to be catching up on. Meanwhile, it looks like Jay Coper is sailing his way over to Mirage Tower. Going to make this play that, unfortunately because of no cube, really isn't going to turn up much.
Yeah, and this is what it looks like when they make a gamble that doesn't pay off, and then they feel like they have to make another bigger gamble that, you know, we happen to know won't pay off. You know, Jay Coper, obviously, because of the magic, had the perfect party to run this sea. But he felt like he needed to make a big play in order to get ahead. You know, he is the first runner with an orb lit, and the only runner on our stream with two orbs lit. But it just didn't feel like enough for him. So he's been holding the key to the floater in that crystal for quite a while, and it's going to be or in that TNT rather. It's going to be a while before he turns it in. Yeah. Meanwhile, it doesn't look like High Spirit's finding too much in the armory floor. He's going to take that hairpin check last, and we'll see if that has anything.
Chat asking
a loose item here could be fairly huge for him.
Chat asking what was over in the waterfall. Just to verify, it was the opal bracelet that you got off the robot right there, and then not a whole lot else except for a grind tile with some red Ds. That wasn't too bad. So yeah, not a lot of love over there at the waterfall.
Yeah, High Spirit's going to burn an encounter before he goes back into Gurgu. Likely going to full clear that Agama floor. But Gurgu, if you have to full clear a Fiend dungeon, let it be Gurgu.
I like this one. It's a much more direct, linear one. All the chests are right along the path you're going to have to take anyway. It doesn't feel like you have to go that far out of the way to get anywhere. And as long as you get to carry with a decent set of levels, and I mean, he's got levels and gear and class change and spells, carry is not going to be a problem. Or 90% probably carry is not going to be a problem.
Absolutely. As Zyrak is going to find this 3-eye grind in Ordeals, that's particularly interesting because I missed that on Jay Coper's side, but Jay Coper must have seen this as well. He spent all that time grinding the waters and then immediately found the 3 eyes on another tile.
Pretty certain that Jay Coper exited out once he had the chest. He does that.
Oh, so yeah, you're right. He didn't even see that.
He didn't see it. No. So, and I mean, that's the thing. That's part of the reason why I was like, why would you take the waters? There's other grind tiles out there. And lo and behold, this dungeon had the other one that you really want even more.
Oh yeah, you love to see Sorias. You love to see 3 eyes. You know, you can see the big eyes depending on how the HP and everything rolled. You know, there's tons of grind tiles that are just delicious, you know, so you're trying to find a way to make the waters work. It can be good, but when they're casting Invis 2, I don't particularly like it.
And Jay Coper finding the blue stake, gonna get himself a little bit more of that extra rare meat after not getting much else over here at Mirage.
Yeah, High Spirit's fiddling with his inventory a little bit. He's holding on to that wooden shield just in case he wants to use it later.
The toboggan. We are finding a surprising lack of, key items, though. It is amazing.
Yeah, the loose items are somewhere. I mean, that's
somewhere, yeah.
Tautology, but so far we haven't found them in Volcano. We've checked a lot of chests through all of these runners, and we haven't found anything loose. So it's almost a guarantee that one of these loose items is going to be key locked or in Sky.
Pretty sure Sky.
And we need a key or a cube to get into Sky. So
wherever that cube may be,
find one will probably be in great shape.
Yeah, wherever cube may be, I have a feeling it's going to lead us right over to where the Sky Palace is going to be holding the rest of the kit they're looking for. Would not surprise me at this point if Slab or Bottle turned into cube, honestly.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. It looks like
Here's our carry play. We got a little bit of buffing right now. Carry coming out with ice too, which actually, this early in the game without all the gear is a bit scary, but 4 hits for 252 is a good shot back. Get the fast off a little too late. Nuke for 146, and we're on to the next round. Carry, apparently scared, just inking. Doesn't have much else to do right there. White Mage does nothing. 8 hits for 300 damage, and a nuke to follow. 248, another nuke. 105, that is finally what took out Carry. Carry actually had a decent amount of health right here. If they'd come any earlier, I think that would have been a real fight right there.
And in 57 minutes, High Spirit's going to light his first orb. Meanwhile, Jay Coper with 2 is going to find his floater.
Slight edge to Jay Coper still, but it took him a while to get that floater up in the air. Second High Spirits lights that second orb, though. We are going to have a real race on our hands between the two of them.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Zyrak has that Thief Stone. We're going to see if he chooses to bring that Thief back up. I don't imagine that he's going to. It looks like he's 3-manning from here. It could be just that he doesn't have any soft potions. As, yeah, once again, the failure to buy softs is plaguing our runners.
I think in this particular case, though, it's not such a big deal. I mean, it's nicer to be able to soft a character back up than to have to worry about spending a life charge, and it's just the Thief.
Yeah, I would prefer, honestly, having the Thief danned. I'm not sure if Zyrak wanted to dan his Thief, or if that decision was made by his choices in purchasing items. But we'll see. As High Spirit's going to go to Castle of Ordeals, he's going to find his loot, and we'll see if he exits out or if he finds that 3-eye grind. Yeah, so High Spirit's going to make a quick work of this pillar maze. As it looks like Ali Jabrap, he is in Gaia. Does he have the bottle yet? No, he does not. So we still haven't seen what that bottle turns into. As Jay Coper is going to be the first one to turn it in on our stream.
See what this fairy lurking in the lake has. Oh, Lady of the Lake, give us something good. That's okay.
She gives us the power bonk. That means that the mermaid floor completely not required. Mermaid floor led to the adamant, which led to the bottle, which led to the power bonk. So that's going to be useful, but it's not going to be the play that you need. And Jay Coper, seeing that he was definitely all in on the wrong play there.
And that right there is probably where Jay Coper finally is starting to feel just a little behind, despite having, like, an extra crystal up on everyone else. he's got to be looking over his shoulder going, oh my god, did I just waste all this time on something that no one else is going to do?
Oh, I feel like he thought he was behind way back when he was making that cubeless mirage dive. I feel like he was gambling definitely because he felt behind. His previous gambles had not paid off, but we'll see now. If he really does feel like he's behind, we may see him take an extended grind and hope for a really dangerous Topher.
Might be the play to make at that point.
Yeah, like, keep in mind, you're not racing against one runner. You're racing against, like, 17 runners, and you need to be the first person to finish. So, if you feel like the only way that you win, if you feel like somebody else has definitely made the right routing, so if you made the wrong one and you feel like the only way that you can get back in is if you're the only one who can handle Topher, well, that's your out. Play to it.
The struggle is, like, if you took a wrong routing right there, you also have to be worried about the fact that there's always that chance that someone goes in on a low-level dive and then just, magically makes it through Topher. You're fighting a lot of elements when it's 20 people in a race and only the first one wins.
Absolutely. So we're still trying to find our key, and we're still trying to find our cube. So this is still anyone's race. But once those key items are found, then we're gonna have a fairly good impression of who's in the lead and who's not.
Well, with the slab...
So Jay Cooper is gonna go for the ice cave, and it looks like High Spirits gonna go straight to turn in the adamant. We know that this is gonna be a whammy prize for him.
A bit, but at the same time, he also has that slab, so he can go do that other turn and get that translated, take care of that as well, and then it's 2 checks for him to make there instead of just 1. It feels a little less bad when he does that, and then, of course, he'll have a power bonk as well as whatever's lurking behind the thing. Which, at this point, almost more than likely has to be the cube.
Yeah, there's only one more whammy prize left to find is a Thor hammer. Right, so if what he finds here is the Thor hammer, then he knows that the cube and the key are loose. If he finds the cube or the key, he's probably going to expect to find the other one behind it.
Oh, getting a report from Groggy Dog that Thor hammer was Lefane. It's already been taken care of. So the chat saw it and we missed it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, our one of our trackers, Groggy Dog, helping us out here. It's obviously very difficult to keep track of 4 runners, but we've got a magnificent crew here to help us out. So yeah, that means that both the key and the cube are loose, and we've got 2 orbs lit on Jay Coper's side. We've got the 3rd orb lit on High Spirit's side, which means we've full cleared. Okay, no, that's not possible. You know what? I don't think that they full clear. I don't think Jay Coper full cleared Kraken's floor when he went through there.
That is going to be the floor right before Kraken. That is going to be the problem right there, because I don't know when he's going to go back, and that was not the gamble to make while you were there. If he had that key right now, he would be in a much more advantageous position.
Yeah, if it was the key or the cube, like he didn't full clear C, and we know, like, everything else has been checked. Right? Like, there are no more chests left to be checked except for Sea Shrine, and both of our runners that are sort of in the lead in Jay Coper and High Spirits, both of them has visited Sea Shrine, and neither of them has full cleared it.
So if key is at Sea Shrine, then that means that you then have to go and dig the key locked spots, which could mean key locked marsh. If it's the cube at Sea Shrine, then more than likely that is pointing you towards Sky to go find the key inside of it. And at this point, knowing that the possibility of something being at Sea Shrine, at the likelihood of it being there, it is really hard to say who is in the lead anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know if I would say the likelihood. I feel like... High Spirits is making the Mirage play. We know he's not going to find anything there. We full cleared Earth and found nothing. We full cleared Marsh, non-key locked, obviously, and found nothing.
But did we actually
So,
check
where is there left besides C?
Did we actually check the top floor of Earth? Because I know Jay Coper doesn't do that until the end. And I don't recall seeing either of the runners that have been there actually check top floor. But
I believe Elliot Rapp did. I might be wrong there.
Okay. Well, check and confirm for us. Perfect. Allie did check it, Groggy confirming, our other tracker. Thank you to both Karant and Groggy for tracking. So that does narrow it down to, yeah, it's C. The only place it could be is C.
Yeah, so whoever goes back to C first, it's going to be our first one to find either the key or the cube. Meanwhile, question in chat, who's leading in the whole field? It's hard to say. Given the routing, I'm going to doubt that it's one of our runners, though. It feels like just knowing that the loose item is in C means it's likely to have been picked up by someone. You know, you can't expect a huge field of runners to all completely skip chests in an orb dungeon.
I'm not going to spoil anything directly, but because I'm not going to go check to see where they found it or how, but I do see that 5 of our runners off-stream do currently have the key. They are missing other key items, though, so it's really hard to say if any of them are truly in the lead right now. This is a very spread-out and scattershot kind of distribution.
Yeah, that is important, but, I mean, we also know for sure that the cube is going to be key locked.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because we've checked everything else, there's no other place for the cube to be except loose behind the key. So finding the key is I hesitate to say key in determining who's going to win. Making that comment took a lot out of me.
I liked it. I will, again, not spoiling anything, but just looking at what's going on right now across the field, I'm not actually seeing any of our runners with the cube yet.
Yeah, that is true. That said, finding the key, you know, interestingly enough, there are only a couple of our runners across everywhere that have 2 orbs lit. Jay Coper being one of them, though it's not listed on our tracker.
Well, it's shown on our graphic tracker, but it's not listed on the notes, but that is not a huge deal. That is very hard to say. Like, realizing that the cube could be anywhere, and apparently everyone's struggling to find it. They may all be going off and clearing different dungeons, and it could be somewhere else.
Do you know where it is, then? Potentially?
Keylock Marsh?
TFC?
Oh, yeah. Oh! Oh, that is cruel if that's the case.
Oh man, if it's in TFC, right? Because if you check the Kraken floor first, you would find key, and you could potentially check TFC. Oh, I'm hoping it's in TFC.
Here's the thing: if you check, I mean, okay, so there's incentivized items, but if you check Kraken floor first and you get the loose out of there, is your immediate thought to be, I'm going to go full clear the other side of the dungeon? Or are you going to be like, I'm just going to go hit the incentivized chest and get out of here, because what's the likelihood of 2 loose being here?
I feel like you're going to full clear it. I feel like when there's still a loose, you never leave a chest behind, but that's me.
That's me too, but I know a lot of players that don't play that way.
At the same time, when you're competing in these flags, one of the ways, like because you need a first place finish, a lot of people are going to orphan chests.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100% they're going to. I have no doubt.
Could be.
Yeah.
It could very well be the TFC is the location of the cube, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because if players have had the key for a long time,
mm-hmm.
and have not found the cube,
that's very likely at this point. And I mean that's good. That's the case for the people who have found it and doing it, and they go and check everything else. And I mean, at that point, if you leave Sea Shrine because you're orphaning TFC, you're not going to go back there until you've even done like full clear key lock marsh and all that. That could be a 100% check basically of all the chests in the game. So we do have a...
in chat, what's TFC?
Yep.
TFC stands for the flipped C. It doesn't,
No.
but that's what I choose to say it does.
That friendly chest.
TFC is a chest in Sea Shrine on the floor leading up to the mermaids that is key locked.
It looks like it's key locked, and it looks like a crescent moon, basically. Like the room that it's in.
So in the event, and High Spirits is here on this floor where and he's the first person on our stream to find the.
And it's not even that far out of the way.
So with that key that Jay Coper skipped, we got to give the edge to High Spirits on our stream, and finding that key. I really want him to check TFC.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I want him I so badly want to see him check TFC.
So I wanna.
Oh man,
I wanna quote Groggy Dog, our tracker, because in chat he said it perfectly. If TFC has the last key item in it, it would just be like, mwah, perfect, like so wrong.
And so far I haven't seen any of our runners across all of the streams. I haven't seen anybody find the cube.
Nightdew asking if High Spirits found the key. He did. It's on the floor he's on right now, in those chests right below the stairs that you come in from. I'm no expert here, but my suspicion is that TFC is the location of this cube. Knowing the players that we have and how people have to gamble to make plays, I think that's a very likely cause. And I mean, something to think about too is, you might have come here to do Sea Shrine. You knew there was a key item there. If a lot of the people that we're seeing right now have the key, did Sea Shrine early, they may have done Mermaid first to get that incentivized item, and then did crack it. I was like, I'm not going back for TFC. Why would I do that?
Oh yeah, I mean that's something High Spirits has done. So I mean, we'll see if he goes back. That said, I don't know. Like if it were me, it's hard to leave the TFC behind because I feel you. It's so out of the way, and you don't want to come back to it.
No, no, you don't want to.
One of the things that's key for High Spirits is going in, having checked literally every other chest besides this floor, so he knows for a fact that cube is key locked. Right? So there's a chance that he says, you know what? I know that it's behind one of the key locked chests. It could be TFC.
Has High Spirits gone to Mirage? I don't think he's gone to Mirage.
No, High Spirits went to Mirage.
I thought it was Jay Coper and Zyrak that did it.
Oh yeah, High Spirits did as well. So
okay, cool. Thank you.
High Spirits full cleared the game that he could until he found that key.
We've got we do have 4 runners going right now, so things are gonna get a little blurry at times. Woo!
Yeah, we're still nobody has found cube in our race yet. So High Spirits, if he does go to, if it is in TFC, has the potential to be the first racer at all to
Serious
find it.
Edge, yeah. But first, he has to get past Kraken, of course.
Yeah, High Spirits gonna face Kraken, potentially light his third orb. This is a race. This is exciting. I like this.
I'm really enjoying this.
You see the level 1 nuke, and you see the early-ish flying, and you're worried about a jet seed. And I feel like everybody in the race is probably worried that at any point now, at 1:15 minutes, you can see somebody done.
He's saving.
So we're gonna see what High Spirits chooses to do,
no!
and he's not gonna check TFC.
High Spirits, go back!
It's our out.
So that was fun. Now we have Ellie Verbrath here.
So High Spirits is going to check the rest of key locked, and then
And then probably kick himself if it's
see.
not there.
We'll see if there's a cube somewhere.
Alley, and this is that thing about like being very selective about how you check these dungeons and do these floors, and that is the problem with having key lock down here where it's, or like key lock, the key down here where it's at. You really don't want to have to like double or triple dip this dungeon, and if you find one loose, there's a part of your brain that's sitting there going, other one couldn't be down here as well, right? No.
Absolutely. So High Spirits made quick work at Dwarf Cave. He's going to check Astos' castle. And he's going to find... not the cube. He's just going to reset out. He's going to go to Conneria.
Well, Elf locked first.
Oh, Elf, I almost called it Elf Cave. Yes, Elf Castle first.
There's nothing there, man. Nothing there.
Yeah, surprising everybody, there's nothing there.
I think he found the white shirt.
And Elliot Brapp is going to find the key.
High Spirit says get the white shirt. That's not a bad item to have. That's some more defense of the evade charges that you can use for casting on it. Nothing to complain about there.
Yeah.
Jake Hopper gets his third orb with that fire crystal now lit from Carrie that I completely missed even happened. And he's going back to explore the first floor of Earth, which I'm pretty sure he didn't do before. High Spirit doesn't even care about that mage stick. He's just going to throw that aside. Gets absolutely nothing here. Exits out. We go into Toph next.
Groggy Dog saying Jake Hoper going to full clear sky before going back to sea. If he managed to full clear sky without the cube, I would be incredibly impressed with him.
Hacks. So now we're going down.
It's an easy mistake to make. As we find those Gerwolves with Zap are guarding whatever's in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
They are starting to run away.
Pure potion going to be really hard to get to.
They are starting to run away, which is nice. But this is basically going to be a full clear of everything at this point. And High Spirits... that was just a slightly angry pause. You could see that right there.
Yeah. High Spirits knows that it's either Marsh... or is it possible he missed Chess and Earth? Or it's potentially
he
TFC.
Might have orphaned. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm really feeling TFC, man.
Well, I know from what I know about the players that we have in here, like Wrigglypuff, for example. If Cube was going to be here, then we'd have already found it because they like to do like that early Earth play. Just check the first floor, see what's there, and then move on.
Yeah, you know, like, if High Spirits or anybody else was aware that nobody else has found Cube, I think the first thing in general, if you say, okay, at an hour and 20 minutes, nobody's found Cube, you say, oh, well, I know where it is.
Oh, and Night Dew reminding us that High Spirits hasn't actually done Earth Cave yet, so this is one of the few places he had left to check. Doing this before he has to go do Keylocked March. Cannot blame him.
Is it true that he hasn't done Earth at all yet?
Doesn't have the crystal.
Of course not. He doesn't have the orb lit.
Yep.
So yeah, High Spirit's gonna full clear this. I thought he'd full cleared the game. I was mistaken. So yeah, that makes sense that he didn't check TFC, although it also makes me sad that he didn't check TFC.
Yeah, he didn't have the math of how many chests were done behind him. But we now know at this point it is basically either Marsh locked or TFC, and I gotta think someone out there would have done Marsh locked by now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we don't know Marsh locked. It could be anywhere. You know, there are some very good runners in this race. You know, there are some runners who, you know, people were surprised didn't make brackets right. So, it's still possible for us to, like, it's very unlikely for our runners to to have this much difficulty finding things.
It is also interesting to note that looking at the sheet that we have right now, there are only one ribbon found among anyone. So there's a lot that's still, like, buried deep somewhere. Presumably those ribbons are probably still over in Sky, because everything likes to end up in Sky eventually.
Absolutely. Team Sky going to be fairly disappointed, as it's likely that runners are going to go mode Sky.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, they're going to feel behind. Mum and Dan asking if anyone has won yet? Absolutely no one has won yet, except for chat, because we're all getting to watch this.
Yep. I've got my eyes glued to that tracker as I see, still, at this point, at an hour and 20 minutes, nobody has found the cube.
That is one buried cube right there.
Well, because it's buried, like, I almost want to put it in the locations tab, just because we know where it's gotta be. Actually, we do know now, because we know that it's not in... Well, it could still theoretically be in key-locked Marsh,
yes.
So I can't say for sure it's in TFC. It's in one of 4 chests, so if we have no biases whatsoever, we would say it has a 25% chance of being in TFC.
I'm thinking someone has already probably checked the Marsh key locked. I'm getting, like, comments from people that it's a possibility, although we're gonna wait and see for confirmation here. I'm really hoping it's over in TFC, but I mean, Marsh locked is almost as bad, let's be frank. Especially when you already had to go down there once.
Oh man. It's everybody's dream to see a TFC seed, so...
Especially one like this where you basically, like, were forced into a sea a couple times to do things. Oof. It's just a rude seed, I love it.
Yeah, definitely we're looking to see something like this, and not disappointed.
As if the last chance qualifier wasn't going to be ugly already, right?
Okay, so Jake Hoper is going into Sea Shrine. Now this is interesting. He's got the orb lit, but he knows that these are the only chests left to check because he go-moded this floor. He's going to find the key. Do you think he checks TFC?
After going and doing the other side, I think it partially depends on how much of the floors he checks. I can't remember how much of the floor between Mermaid and here that he actually went to.
Because I will say this. It looks like finally somebody found cube, and we do it is confirmed that if he checks TFC, he will have found the cube, right? And he will have 3 orbs lit as well at the time that he does so. So this could potentially be Jake Hoper coming to a lead if he finds it. So Jake Hoper is checking this floor. Oh, he's checking these chests.
I was worried about that.
Less likely. He can't check TFC until he checks Kraken floor.
Yeah, I was worried about that he was going to do this. I was worried he was going to come to this side first because he hadn't cleared it and the chest density is better. But it does mean that if he gets the key on the other side, he's probably unlikely to come back here again because he's not going to have to triple dip this dungeon.
Oh man. And that urge to gamble, it turns out, was not misplaced. Anyone who was feeling like, oh man, if I'm going to check like a lesser checked location, if they had chosen TFC, they would have had the the cube a lot earlier than anyone else. But here it is. We are at an hour 24 minutes, almost 25 minutes into this stream, and so far none of our runners have entered go mode.
I will be interested to see when one of our runners actually manages to do go mode, because this is taking a while for them to get through all of this, and none of them are going to be happy with how long it took to find like key and cube.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, everybody who went to C early skipped key, and in both High Spirits and Jay Coper, and that just doesn't feel good.
So we see High Spirits coming down here, finally doing this Earth play. And then, although we know we wanted to go over to C to check and see if the cube is over at TFC, just so we have confirmation on stream, the fact of the matter is I think with the area he's in, Marshlocked is more likely.
Absolutely, we're gonna expect him if he does like as Zyrak gonna find the key. You know, High Spirits likely to check key locked Marsh, and then we'll go back to TFC.
Zyrak still full clearing though, wisely, because he knows that cube has got to be somewhere nearby. Whatever nearby means at this point. Time and reason have lost all meaning.
Yes, indeed they have, as High Spirits gonna scurry down to Marsh Cave, go as quickly as he can. Jay Coper finds the key, and he's gonna be kicking himself. He knows that he could have had that key a good long while ago.
Yeah.
So we'll see how he chooses to react. You know, does he go back to TFC? Nobody has done yet, and that tells our runners a lot. You know, like they don't have access to this tracking sheet, but it doesn't mean that they won't metagame. And knowing that nobody is finished, well, that tells you a lot. That tells you either that Temple of Fiends Revisited is not a cakewalk, or that there's a key item out there that has been missing for a while. And High Spirits is checking these non-key lock chests. I don't know if I would even bother. I feel like, you know, at almost 90 minutes in with nobody done, you gotta feel like it's key locked. You know, it's key locked or it's nothing.
If it was me, I don't think I would. I think I would feel like it's just telling me that Topher is particularly nasty, and that I should take my time to get some extra levels while I'm out here.
Well, that is always a possibility, but I mean, it's not something that you'd necessarily lean towards. When you have a really difficult Temple of Fiends Revisited, but if you have 4 people get in there at 1 hour, you still gotta feel like somebody's gonna have finished after half an hour. Spirit's finally going to the key lock locations. He's gonna find that pure. Ali Jabrap is gonna light his 3rd orb after when he finally kills Carrie here. Carrie, I don't remember putting up too much of a fight. Gonna throw out a meaningless Ice 2.
Oh, and I am seeing right now that Jay Coper went back in. Does have a cube lit. I was distracted for a second checking out what High Spirits was up to. Completely missed the thing that we've been waiting for this whole time. So Jay Coper, despite leading the key that long, has put himself in go mode, and the second he decides to stop checking chests here in Sky, he can just go finish the game.
Yeah, Jay Coper going to be our first runner to go into go mode, and potentially, like, he's going to have more levels than a lot of other runners. Yeah, he's in what was that, level 33 there that I saw?
It's
because
a possibility.
He's
I didn't
got
notice.
2 party members. Yeah, he's at level 33 on that fighter. So this could mean, like, if Temple of Fiends Revisited is particularly difficult, especially if it requires a lot of strength to get through, then Ali Jabrap, Jay Coper could be doing well. Actually, I had him confused for Ali Jabrap for a second. Nope.
They both have an edge. They have a lot of levels between them.
Yeah, but Algebra does not have that cube. So yeah, Jay Coper going to completely go mode Sky Sky Sky. We know that there's 2 ribbons in here. He probably does as well, but he's not going to take the time to find them.
More than likely, no. He might hit one of the green go chests, like the 4-pack that's up on the next floor, but I wouldn't expect to see him grab too much.
That's a common thing, but I don't expect him to do it. He's felt behind the whole time, and he's definitely kicking himself. After finding the thing in TFC, he knows, like, he came into this seat in the mood to gamble, and he just put his money on the wrong long shot. You know, because TFC is always a long shot, and it turns out that in this particular seat, it's the winning one. So Jay Coper feeling behind, but he's going to grind through here as quickly as possible.
Well, he needs to. He's already at, like, high 20s. I think I saw a previous fight or two. He managed to get himself up to level 28. This will probably get him 29 if he's not there already for that fighter. This is helping to, like, narrow down that level edge that Ali Gabrat has. And it does look like he's just taking a walking grind on everything he finds here.
Yeah, the famous walking grind. It's faster than well, it's not faster in terms of individual levels, but it's considered quite quick.
It is
in terms of getting the levels on the fly. And Jay Coper will take those 4 greed chests.
Finds the defense sword. That is a lovely pickup right there. I mean, pretty much, if you're not going to find more ribbons, he doesn't actually need ribbons because he has the spells. That is one of the best things you could find otherwise. Yeah, the walking grind is great. It provides pretty much all the levels you need just by picking up enemies as you go along. Grind tiles are fantastic if you find a good one, but at a certain point, it's just like, it's better just to be efficient and make progress while you're taking enemies.
And High Spirit's going to grab the cube in TFC. He's also going to be kicking himself. He knows he was here. He could have grabbed it. He chose not to.
He was honestly one of the first people here. He could have had it a long time ago.
Yeah, so High Spirit's going to go to Mirage. He's going to go through Sky Palace, and I don't expect him to check any chests either.
We need for someone in the chat to start praying, because we're on the Bridge of Destiny, which means we need to see that robot chicken. And we have it! Hello, Warmech! We now are going to be able to see just what this secret boss has.
Yeah, Jay Coper gonna take the Warmech. Feels like this is actually playing into his win condition.
That Warmech had, like, no health. He fell over. This is the easiest Warmech right there, and then he gets himself into the 30s for levels. Like, no complaints.
Yeah, Jay Coper playing into his win condition. He can only win this game if Temple of Fiends Revisited is incredibly terrible. So.
And so far, with no one else having finished the race yet, it does seem like it's a particularly gross Topher.
Yeah, it's hard to say. A gross Topher on top of a TFC makes everybody happy.
Everyone who's watching, anyway. So now with that 4th orb lit, Jay Coper is officially ready to go to the Temple of Fiends. We will see him probably go do just a little bit of shopping percent just to get through all of it. And then he will be entering the Topher, and we'll finally get to see just what is lurking down there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I can't wait to interview these runners.
They are going to be so angry, I'm sure. All of them.
What, you think that they're not going to be glad? Oh, man. I need to scroll up in the SRL room, figure out who rolled this seat.
Sprocket's dancing.
A beauty.
Sprocket's dancing chat saying she heard something about Warmech and had to roll on over here. We did have a Warmech. It was the easiest, most paper Warmech I believe I have ever seen. One sword swing and it fell over.
So Jay Coper with his 4th Orblet is going to go, I believe, directly to Temple of Fiends Revisited.
But we do have a winner. Someone on another stream has finished this. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone if you decide to go back and watch other races. But we do have a winner, so at this point, everyone who's playing it out here is playing it out for the sake of playing it out.
Yeah, and we're gonna see how our racers react to that. Though I expect Jay Coper to still give this the college try here. But when the first racer finishes and you know you've been eliminated from the tournament, it can be difficult to continue when you still have things left to find.
Well, I will note that the second one person finished, 2 other people immediately forfeited. I can't blame them for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jay Coper is going to go through here. High Spirits is likely to give it a try as well. He's going to light his 4th orb. And it looks like Ali Jabrap and Zyrak, knowing that this is their last race, looks like both of them are planning on finishing this out.
Hey, they're committed, and we're going to follow them every step of the way. That said, I would not be surprised if they've hit a gatekeeper anywhere down here, if we don't just see them forfeit at that point because they're tired of fighting it. We do also have a second finisher now, just for the, the joy of finishing.
Yeah, and my connection booted me from the SRL room, so I'm still not sure who's finished.
We'll discuss it once we're done. I'm not going to spoil it until we're done. Yeah.
So Ali Garaf gonna pick up life for his knight.
High Spirits has his 4th orb, and meanwhile Jay Coper is over on the Earth floor now. I'm thinking Zyrak is starting to think he may have missed something. 3rd place has crossed the finish line already, so it was a quick pack right there at the end. I'm sure they were all clutching, just trying to be like, I'm gonna make it, oh no!
Yeah, Jay Coper taking this Soria fight. Gonna try and gain a couple levels before he goes in there. And High Spirit's also gonna enter Topher at 138.
Both of them working to finish it out. Gonna see just how far it goes.
Yeah.
Taking on Lich. Gonna see what Lich has right now. Lich getting smacked a couple times by some swords. Doesn't even do anything. Bye, Lich.
So, yeah. There's no betting now on who's going to win, but there is still plenty of betting available on whether there will be profanity on Speed Gaming or RPG Limit Break during the interviews.
So since it was asked in chat,
by its full name.
Since it was asked in chat, there was a 2-minute difference between 1st and 2nd place in the SRL, followed by about another 30 seconds for the 3rd place winner. And I would not be surprised if we start seeing them pour in after this for anyone that decides to finish this out. It's your last race of the tournament. Make it count.
Although, I think you and I were talking about TFC long before anybody in the race found it. I'm pretty sure that if you were in the race, you would have finished first.
Possibility. I could still find ways to screw it up. Never doubt. Okay, so Jake, I missed Carrie, but we're gonna now see what's going on with Kraken here as Jake Hoper takes on this next fiend. Does a little bit of healing, gets himself in position. Yeah, defense up. Nuke. Current in chat confirming Carrie wasn't too bad. I'd have to agree with that. I didn't even see her, so... Oh! Oh no!
Kraken has Zap, and Jake Hoper did not put the put the ribbon on his fighter, so...
He spun for a loop. He's not even sure what to do at this point.
He's going to throw out a cheeky quad X. It's not going to work. Kraken's going to return it. It's not going to work there either.
Kraken had his own cheeky quad X to try. A nuke and another quad X.
A quad X still didn't work, and Jake Hoper going to take a wipe there.
Looks like he is going to go back and try again, though.
Yep, he's going to go back in. Yeah, having one ribbon and having Kraken with... It's possible that one of our runners, not one of our runners, but it's possible that like our runners are the only ones who wiped to it. It's possible that Kraken Zap may have determined the first and second place finisher of this race.
Yeah, Zap and Kraken. We did get a fourth place winner crossing the finish line at 1 hour 40 minutes, so that's another minute and a half behind.
Can you confirm something for me? Can you scroll up and figure out who it is who rolled this monstrosity of a seed?
Pretty sure it was Danny.
I'm sorry?
I'm pretty sure it was Danny.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna have to hire her to roll my bracket seeds. as Jake Hoper gonna take that fighter fight and gonna use the loot and get back down there and Topher again.
So High Spirits is about to make his way to that fairly papery carry. And then we're going to see what he decides to do once he gets to Kraken. Because that was first turn Zap.
Yeah, so Jake Hoper, recall, grabbed A-Rub and Wall. So he did not grab Brack, instead opting to get spells that could resist Zap, spells that could resist the insta-death. So he may employ them in his second bout with Kraken.
About 3 minutes later, we now have our 5th place finisher crossing the finish line. GG to them. I will go over the list of who all has finished eventually. I just don't want to spoil it while we're in the middle of things.
Absolutely.
That way, if you're wanting to finish out each of these in turn over on like YouTube later, you don't have to worry about finding out the winner before you actually manage to watch all the races.
Exactly. I suspect that once we have our first finisher in our room and invite them in for an interview, that they know, because they're in the SRL room, they know who finished, and I expect that we'll hear that name.
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping we can keep it spoiler-free until the end here, but you can't control everyone.
Just try and keep them talking and hopefully keep them from cursing.
So Allie doesn't have the cube unless we missed marking it.
Oh, the wall goes off after the Zap on High Spirit's side.
And then Kraken is not playing fair.
Oh, High Spirit's casting wall right after Zap.
And I think with that, we officially have a forfeit from High Spirits.
Yeah, I can't blame him. See if we can get him into the interview room.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, you can ask him in the SRL room, please, and I'll see if I can drag him in here. It is a drag. The wall cast going off, but Kraken getting turn order with that zap and killing the fighter before he could get it. So yeah, get your GGs out for High Spirits. He was the first runner on stream to
Escape this mess.
He was the second runner on stream to find the cube, and was ahead on stream for a little bit, but unfortunately unable to close out this seed. Meanwhile, we have Jake Coper, and he just finished carry. He's gonna look for his second bout with Kraken. He's gonna have the he's gonna have the water floor to contend with one more time.
And yes, there have been a couple more forfeits in the process. Okay, High Spirit should show up in our waiting room soon, and then you can pull him in from there.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like Jay Coper gonna elect for the nuke strats, choosing not to use the wall or the A-rub. And did he just cast exit? Did I see that right?
I missed it. Oh yes,
Yeah,
there it was.
He cast an exit. That would work in Mystic Quest, but unfortunately, not going to be effective here in Final Fantasy 1.
I mean, teleport spell would even work over in Final Fantasy 2.
Absolutely, and we are joined in Discord by High Spirits. High Spirits, GG, man, that was a rough.
That was rough.
That was a rough seed.
Yeah.
Thanks. You know, there was this moment, okay, where I was killed Kraken, got the key, and I was like, I should go back in there and check those chests. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
you're not going to be in there.
And when you killed Kraken,
I probably would have won the race if it wasn't for that.
When you killed Kraken, at that point, nobody in any of the streams, nobody had found Cube yet. And we had our fingers crossed. We were like, I think it's in TFC. I really hope he checks TFC.
We were shouting at you to go back there.
Yeah, that was what it was. I made the gamble to not go back in there because I missed that. Like, I skipped the floor the first time because I got to put the stone. I'm like, I'm just gonna get out of there. Second time, I went like, yeah, I gotta go. I can't do a third dip in here, and that's what ended up costing me. So.
We have had another forfeit, and I will get him set up right now. Zyrak has also forfeited from the race.
That's a shame. Get your GGs out for Zyrak. As Jake Hoper is taking on Tiamat 2, this is going to be our first look at this fight. And it looks like he's electing for the nuke strat. You know, it's hard to argue with when you have that many nukes.
Yeah, it's the thing of, apparently once you got past that zap, that Kraken wasn't so bad, but that zap was enough that I think it just chases off a lot of people, because you're like, well, seed's over anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna forfeit with the race still to be finished, but once somebody done, it's sort of hard to throw yourself against a gatekeeper, as Tiamat 2 has Cure 4 and all of those nukes were for naught.
That hurts. You could see the long pause from Jay Coper just sighing. Like, really? Really? He also doesn't seem to have temper or fast on that one red mage.
Yeah, electing to avoid some of these spells. He's going to use his first A-Rub cast.
Yeah, doesn't seem to have temper.
Gonna go straight back to nuking.
Doesn't seem to have temper
his
fast.
adaptation, he did use the power bonk a little bit, as Tiamat's gonna throw out a Bane, and that's gonna go through the A-Rub even and kill one of his mages.
That Quad X is working out well.
He's gonna erase Tiamat too, and now it's just J. Coper versus Chaos to be the first runner on our stream to finish.
I think he's got good odds. Distributing his items around just a little, wouldn't be surprised to see him put the ribbon on that fighter, or knight at this point. Meanwhile, Ali, at 1 hour, 51 minutes, 4 seconds, going to be the next runner to enter in the Temple of Fiends proper.
You know, I did not expect this seed to take this long.
Not with how early Floater was.
Yeah, given the nuke and the floater. So J. Coper gonna even bring that white mage up for tanking duty. Getting prepared. He's using his last heal pots in preparation for this chaos fight.
Meat shield strats.
He's run out of healing, so it's time to go.
Yeah, he basically has 2 meat shields there, because that red mage is not going to last long either.
He's going to get his defense swords up. This is going to be our first look at chaos. And he's going to cast A-Rub and hopefully dodge any cracks.
Getting those buffs out.
Chaos is going to open with Lit 2.
Meat shield's gone. Yeah, getting those buffs out, that defense sword's going to work some real magic right there for him. And then, of course, he has the power bonk, so the lack of temper isn't going to hurt him as bad.
We are joined in the booth by Zyrak. Zyrak, GG.
GG's, thank you.
We'll get back to you in just a second. We are currently watching Coper try and take on Chaos right now. We want to give him our full attention, of course.
Absolutely. So
just some
looks like J. Coper using the power bonk. He's gonna try and be able to take Chaos down in a few swings. IS-3 not doing a whole lot of damage. Chaos is gonna resist it. Using power bonk one more time. It doesn't look like he had access to fast for this night. Chaos throws out a nuke, no longer content to be cast in Lit 2.
I was going to comment that the spells he was throwing were nothing to worry about, and then he throws out the nuke, and I feel like I need to eat those words I didn't even say.
Yeah, and it's time to start swinging. 5 hits, 300 damage isn't going to do it. He's going to need to do a little more. He's using the power bonk one more time. He doesn't have any healing left. He has no spells. He has no potions. He's just got his IS-3. He's going to use his power bonk, and he's going to hope that Chaos doesn't have much more to do. Chaos uses Tornado. That is non-elemental. It would go through a ribbon. 5 hits, 586. Fire 2 isn't going to do it, but if Chaos decides to use anything else, he could easily take J. Coper down. And 709 damage. Terminated. Chaos goes down. J. Coper going to be our first runner on stream to finish. He clutched it out with 45 HP left. So hopefully he's going to get in here for an interview. In the meantime, Zyrak, can you tell us what was going through your head in that scene?
I don't know. I felt pretty... Once the floater turned up where it did for me, like my route just didn't wind up being right at all. I made some plays like going into Mirage early that didn't pan out into anything really, so I knew it was going to be tough. But that cube location, boy oh boy, that was.
Yeah, that was the story of our stream. Is we had a lot of people who were looking to gamble, looking to mix it up and check some odd locations, but they didn't check the oddest or the most gambly, and so unfortunately, like we were at 80 minutes into the stream and still nobody had found Key across not just our broadcast but all broadcasts. Nobody had found Q.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty I think with incentivized water, you're pretty much always going to go to the mermaid side first. So with the key being on the other side, I think that's pretty tough. Like I already felt, because I hadn't found much from the loose incentivized stuff, I already felt like I was clearing more random chests than I really wanted to, but I felt like I couldn't really skip that much as well. So yeah, it was just not a pretty layout for what I was coming into the seed trying to do.
Absolutely. So this is a question for both of our runners that are currently in the Discord. This is going to put an end to your tournament, having failed to win the last chance qualifier. What were your thoughts on the tournament overall, and what do you have to say to any new runner who might potentially be thinking of joining the Discord or joining the new tournaments? I'm going to say High Spirits, you go first if you can.
You know, it's not that too hard of a game to pick up. I mean, except for me, I'm the old guy who played the game from way back then, so like I already kind of had the knowledge, but it's one of those games where it can be tricky because there's a lot of knowledge involved. You got to know a lot of enemies and a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's just about get your menuing fast. I heard someone used to say it a couple years ago, I think it was Wout, that he really liked my menuing and he was happy with that, and that was when I was still a noob into the rando community. So if I have to give as an RPG speedrunner, get good at menuing.
That's excellent advice. So Zyrak, what are your thoughts ending this tournament?
I mean, I'm a guy who I watch a decent amount of FF1 Randomizer, but I really only play it casual with some friends every once in a while. So I came in here and made some plays and got 3 wins. So I mean, if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. Like, so don't be scared. Just come in and give it a shot.
Absolutely. As Ali Jabrab showing the power of the two-man strats, that level 42 fighter made
Destroys.
quick work of that Tiamat, or that Kraken 2 rather.
That was Tashimi.
1100 damage on his last swing.
Yeah, that Tiamat got me doing it now. That Kraken right there was nothing but like some bits of tentacle by the time he was done.
Yeah, so we're gonna look to see if we can get Jay Coper in here for an interview.
I did ask. I don't know if he's turned up yet.
Yeah, he hasn't turned up yet, but meantime, like oh, there he is.
Are we doing interviews?
And we're joined by Jay Coper.
Oh, hello. Thank you. I got pulled in so quickly.
Yeah, GG, you were the first person on our stream to finish.
Yeah, that means I won. Don't pretend these other things didn't happen.
Hey, for a couple seconds, I did have you marked as the winner, because at least as far as our quad was concerned, you won that part of the race.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, you were the only runner, like you were the first runner into Sea Shrine, and you were also the first runner to kill Kraken. That's got to sting a little bit. Having missed that key the first time.
We do have Allie approaching Chaos now. Let's take a couple of minutes and just check out this fight to help finish out our run, see where we go from there, and then we'll pick right back up with the questions as we continue this interview process.
The way the seed laid out at the beginning, it seemed like it was going to be Jet, and then all of a sudden everything was loose at the end. So it's kind of funny how that happened.
So Ali did a defense blast and then is starting to temper up right now, already swinging for like 878 damage. Follow-up hit of
12
hits.
1798.
It's almost
Chaos
1800,
not
yeah.
gonna take that for very long.
Another 1,000 damage after that.
10-15's gonna do it.
Yup.
Get your GGs out for Ali Jabrap. He's gonna finish just before the 2-hour mark. Or just after, it looks like. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. J. Coper, you were saying?
It sure looked like it was going to be, like, a free seed for a little bit there. Like, everything was just in the incentive locations, and then all of a sudden we needed all the loose items. So, yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna kill Kraken now in case I never have to come back here. So, I figured I could probably do it with the nukes, and I was right. I did intend on getting fast and temper at some point, and I didn't do that, and that may or may not have cost me. I'm not sure. And maybe I should have gotten life on the night as well. I didn't really think about that either, but would have been helpful for some alternate strats there in Topher. But whatever. I don't know. Everything you do, I think, is kind of a gamble in this game, one way or another.
Absolutely. We saw you with one of the more aggressive strategies. I had to agree with it in principle, knowing that you have to be the fastest runner, and solid isn't necessarily going to do it. So I mean, I saw you were the first runner to like ignore Crescent Lake and go straight for on rack. You wound up diving Mirage and everything. Did you feel like you were behind and had to make up some ground when you were going into those places?
No, I never felt behind. It was just a matter of you have to win for anything to matter. So, like, I never would have gone to Mirage. That seemed kind of silly. I could have easily waited to see if the cube showed up. It turned out not to be a bad play considering where the cube was, but ideally I think I'd rather check the incentivized locations before going up there.
Yeah, in the end, it took a long time for anybody to be able to find that cube. So yeah, it does look like Ali Jabrap finished with the official SRL time of 1:59:54. So just barely under the 2-hour mark. Definitely GG to him and GG to all of our runners, whether they finished or not. This was not an easy seat.
Now we will have our actual winner joining us in just a little bit, and this is where I'm going to actually spoil this now. So if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, don't want spoilers, this will be where you want to pause for a little while and then come back to finish up the interviews afterwards. But Lord Fizzlebeef did finish at an hour 35:23 as far as his official SRL time was concerned, followed by Ale Markin, Burt Reynolds, Super Pleb, Sho Fukumachi, J. Coper here on our race, DVOX S, or DVOX's names, Guelph 35, and then Ali Gerbrap right behind. So, I mean, GG's to all of you. Like, once it started finally clicking together, it felt like the names started coming in and everything. It's just that TFC no one wants to see. Like, the rage I'm sure you guys had to feel about that.
I mean, I wasn't mad because that was the first place I went with the key, so
Worked out.
Felt good to me. Yeah. Again, I was like, you got to try something to try to win the whole thing. I didn't have any, illusions of winning the whole race, but I did what I had to do to have a chance for the most part. So, I could have maybe killed fewer things or something. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. We are joined by Ali Gerbrap. GG, Ali Gerbrap, finishing just before 2 hours.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I really like it. Okay, I gambled a lot. I was like, okay, there's no way I can win this race. I was looking at the other runners, and I can't finish first against those runners. So I had to make some gambles. And you know what? Like, early Earth was not a bad play because like you found Excalibur and you found the Dragon Mail, and after that going early to Ice Cave, that was also good because we had Master. So like, especially with me, we like started with 2 people because I thought that was my only way to like get a really decent time, and hopefully it works out. And yeah, aside from seeing TFC, that was a fun seed though.
Oh, I mean, if you're not running it, TFC is the most fun thing to see on a seed. But my heart does go out to the runners. Um, yeah, so for both Jay Coper and Ali Jabrap, this ends your tournament. So just do you guys have anything to say about how the tournament went, or like any advice for anybody looking to potentially join Final Fantasy Randomizer and looking to maybe compete in something like this later? I want to start with Jay Coper to answer that.
The tournament was okay for me. Like I said, I don't consider myself one of the best players of this game. So winning, how many races did I win? 3.
Yeah,
Three.
you were
Yeah.
both 3 and 3.
Right. I just forgot how this worked out. But anyway, yeah. I was satisfied enough with that. There's a lot of good people to make it into a bracket for this tournament. This game is not that hard to pick up, so if anyone wants to play it, go ahead for sure. It's not the easiest, but it's close, and there's certainly a lot of people willing to help on the Discord and stuff like that. So, yeah, looking forward to maybe something more interesting in this game later this year. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun. It's like a game I haven't played in a while, and like honestly, I had a blast playing this. Playing like even like the last chance qualifier, I knew I didn't have a shot, but like, hey, you know what? Like I knew that it was my last chance. You know, it was like I didn't see myself winning this match, so it was pretty much, you know what? Let's just have fun one last time.
So we
All
are.
right, and we are joined by our winner, Lord Fizzlebeef. GG to you.
Hey, hi.
So I gotta ask, like, how'd you feel about where that cube was lurking?
I had every emotion simultaneously because that was the last. So I did Marsh Key Locked, I did Full Clear Earth, I opened literally every possible box prior to TFC. I even did a cubeless Mirage dive. I did everything I could have done.
Yeah, this is one of those seeds where being able to see that master tracking sheet was pretty fun because you knew that like we were way more, we were like at an hour 20 before anybody was able to find Cube, but we were sitting there going, Cube hasn't been found yet. I bet it's in TFC.
If only I had routed left side first, but with the incentive there, I feel like that changes the math and the strategy that you have to do right side first, and I wasn't going to go back in for one box because I had so many other boxes in the game.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where if it's TFC, just don't let it be C flags. Because that adamant turned out to be the ultimate whammy, where it was the adamant into bottle into power bonk, I believe.
Yep, never used it. I don't even know if I actually like slotted it around on my characters to pretend to make use of it. I also did the slab turn in quest and got my stupid Thor hammer and then reset back to Ice Cave and then did Volcano.
So with this win, you go into the play-in race. So you're looking at another big race, and it's going to be Earth Flags. You have any thoughts going into that?
I hate Earth Flags.
Oh.
You and me both. When I saw those Earth Flags, I was so glad not to be in there.
What is this prize I've won?
Yeah, congratulations on winning your chance into a high stakes. I'm not. I can't use none of the words for it are going to be Randomania safe.
Enjoy escaping the meat grinder. Go play in a meat grinder.
Yep.
I do have one question for you though. Going into that play-in race, are you planning on checking TFC?
No.
will not be learned.
No, the lightning struck. The lightning can't strike twice. That's just physics.
Well, definitely GG to you. Do you have any thoughts on the competition going into that play-in race?
That race is going to be a nightmare. There are so many racers that I am surprised ended up 4-2. That's going to be a real bloodbath. I feel like everyone's going to finish in the span of like 5 minutes.
Strong possibility right there, knowing who's in there and what could happen. With Earth flags too, it's the thing of the second you get that rod, Earth feels like a viable play. And at least you know, once you have that rod, you don't have to worry about like, you know, rod being like or something else being locked somewhere in a chest you never want to check. No equivalent to TFC down there.
Yeah.
So with runners we still have in here. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this? Let's start with Allie and then move our way alphabetically down. Allie, final thoughts.
Yeah, it was fun. No, what? Congrats to Lord Fizzlebeef for this amazing showing, especially knowing that he pretty much checked every box. I had fun, and you know what? Like, I can't wait to watch the plane race that is coming up.
Jay Coper, any final thoughts?
No. Lord Fizzlebeef just emphasizing that there's a lot of things I don't understand about this game, about how people can check every chest and still win. But anyway, thanks everyone for putting this show together. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate the big orchestrations like this to make everything happen. So, yeah. But till next time, I guess. Thank you.
Fizzle, any final thoughts from you?
I mean, I've probably said it before, but I'll say it again. Everyone always roots for LOL, it's the TFC seed. Wouldn't that be neat? And like it's neat and it's awful and you hate it and you love it. 0 out of 10 do recommend.
Last one, you got any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw a big thank you to Randomania, as well as, even though we're not on there, to Speed Gaming and RPG Limit Break. We hosted this race over 5 broadcasts across 3 networks, and they worked hard to make it work. Big thank you to all of our crew. We had a massive cluster cuss of a broadcast, and we had more people volunteer than we actually needed, and that says a whole lot about our community and how eager everybody is to participate. You know, big thank you to all of our runners, anyone who submitted themselves to this seed. My heart goes out to you. A big thank you to Danny for organizing all of this and for rolling this seed, and obviously thank you to our own personal trackers, Karant and Groggy Dog, and to you, Dark Moon, for restreaming and for joining me in the commentary booth.
Oh, you are quite welcome. So yes, please make sure to follow our runners, High Spirits, Jay Coper, Zyrex, and Ellie Grab. Make sure to follow the team that helped to put this all together. Groggy Dog, Karant, our trackers, Elastoid, who joined me in the booth, Dark Moon EX, Dark Moon Firelight on Twitch. And of course, give follows to everyone out there who helped to make this happen. All the Speed Gaming channels, all the Randomania channels, RPG Limit Break. Without all the hosting that they did, we never would have been able to pull this off. And with that, we are done with this last chance qualifier. Next week, we'll be having our play-in race, another huge, chaotic 4-channel madness race right there. Big meat grinder. But until then, from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, this has been a presentation of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament 2020, and we will see you next time.